Today on Judge Porter.
It shows here that you're suing for $9,000 in medical expenses.
We are cavalier or careless about these sorts of things.
I went through an anaphylactic shock. Look at my face.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Porter is presiding. Court is now in session.
Please be seated. Thank you so much. We're here for case number 3678, Mario Zamora versus Gerald Hollingsworth. Gentlemen, can you please come to the podium? Mr. Zamora, hello, sir. What happened to your face?
Long story, Judge.
Okay. It shows here that you're suing for $9,000 in medical expenses.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, tell us what happened.
Judge, like I said, it was a long story, but really kind of brief to the point. I went over this gentleman's restaurant a couple days ago with my ex-girlfriend now.
Okay.
And I ordered a pumpkin Alfredo. I told them repeatedly a couple times, let the restaurant know before I showed up and made the reservation with my girlfriend, ex, that I was allergic to nuts.
Okay.
I'm severely allergic. So when I made the reservation online, I put, I'm allergic to nuts. I told the hostess when I got there that I was allergic to nuts. I told the waitress when I sat down that I was allergic to nuts. She brought the manager over. I told him I was allergic to nuts. So now 4 people and the chef know that I was allergic to nuts. I get the pasta. All of a sudden, nuts, my throat starts swelling up. I can barely breathe. I was dying.
Okay, now this particular pumpkin Alfredo, was that the only dish that you ingested?
That's the only dish that I had that day, sir. I was fasting earlier.
Okay, now when you have an allergic reaction, from the time you eat something that you're not supposed to eat to the time that you get this reaction, how long does it take, give or take?
It's about like 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, all right. And so you didn't consume anything prior to coming to the restaurant?
No, sir.
It's only
No,
after
Judge.
you ate this particular dish that you began to... Sir, you heard what he had to say. What's going on with this? You know what, first, hold on for a second. Did you advise him? Well, obviously you couldn't
Judge, I
speak.
let the
Did your
whole
girl
restaurant
advise
know.
him of the situation?
Yeah. The next day I called them to let them know about it, to say, hey, I ended up speaking to this gentleman to my left, and he said, oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It was probably something that you ate earlier. But I was fasting the day earlier. My pumpkin Alfredo was the only thing I had eaten that day.
Okay, how did you resolve this this reaction?
Well, I went straight to the hospital. I had an EpiPen on me,
Okay,
so I used the EpiPen as soon as I can, and I went to the hospital right after.
all right. And what did they say caused this reaction?
It was the nuts.
It was an allergic reaction to
It was a
some
quick
nuts.
reaction to the pumpkin Alfredo.
Sir, you heard what he had to say. Did he advise you that he had, prior to the reservation, is this the gentleman that told you, hey, I have an allergic reaction to nuts. Please don't have it on my dish.
That's his story.
Okay.
He didn't speak to me directly.
Okay. He also says that he made a reservation online, and in the, I guess, the box that like special requests, is that correct? I can't have nuts. Is that correct?
As far as I know, that's correct.
Okay, now
But I'd like to, if I may, dispel one notion
yes.
that we are cavalier or careless about these sorts of things.
Okay.
Anybody comes to my restaurant, you're family to me.
Okay.
And we take care of our guests the same way we take care of family.
Okay.
I've known about these issues for decades. My daughter, she's 30 now. When she was a child going to school on the bus, she rode the bus with a little girl named Nicole who was so allergic to everything.
Okay, sir, I don't need a history of that. What I need to know is when he advised you that he was having, or rather, when he advised you afterward that he had suffered an allergic reaction, from eating at your establishment. What was your response to that, sir?
He calls up, he's screaming at me.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the way you start, by screaming?
What did he say?
He said, you tried to kill me. You made me sick. I got anaphylactic shock.
anaphylactic. I went through an anaphylactic shock. Look at my face.
Okay.
And I say, prove it.
My girl left me. That's proven.
Okay,
Prove it.
gentlemen.
Did you pump your stomach?
Gentlemen.
Did you save the leftovers?
Gentlemen, please. Gentlemen, please. Sir, he's saying that if this happened inside the restaurant, the reaction,
Yes.
okay, which means that your employees had to see this.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Your
hear you.
employees had to see this.
Yes.
What did they do?
They alerted me that
And what
this
did you
man-
do?
We looked at everything. We made sure that we didn't cause any issues. May I show you the menu?
Yeah, you can show me, please.
Okay, may I
Come.
approach?
Yes. Thank
Again,
you.
I want to make you understand
Okay.
that we take this seriously. All right?
All right.
What? You
Okay,
see?
I see the pumpkin Alfredo.
Okay.
May I say
do,
something,
do you,
Judge?
do you
Hold on,
see
hold on.
something in the second column, in the top part, under small plates, sardine and sour?
Yeah.
What is the first two words that it says under that?
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Say that again.
The center section, the sardine appetizer. What does it say under sardine and sour?
It says
Contains nuts.
Contains nuts, yes.
Right? Because there are pine nuts in that dish.
Correct.
Look under the next column.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He ordered pumpkin Alfredo.
Right. What do you see under pumpkin Alfredo? You see any nuts in pumpkin Alfredo?
No.
Everything we have three things on the menu
That
that
is
night
called
with nuts.
cross-contamination.
You know
I
what,
was
my
going-
friend?
I requested a separate pan cooked.
Gentlemen, here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring up, is it a possibility that there was cross-contamination?
Do you see what it says at the bottom of the menu? At the very bottom of the menu,
Yes.
it says,
We
ask
res-
what
yeah.
we can make gluten-free or vegetarian, vegan, and under that it says, we do our best to respect dietary restrictions and allergies, but our kitchen is small and we cannot guarantee no cross-contamination.
Okay,
And
if
this
you-
is the point,
okay, but
if you
sir-
may, if I may, 1 minute about
Yes.
this girl, Nicole. One day she got on the bus, she got so sick, they rushed her to the hospital. She had nothing to eat that day except breakfast in her
Sir,
own
sir.
family's kitchen.
But sir, what I'm getting at is this. I understand that here in small print, and it's very small print, we cannot guarantee any cross-contamination. I got that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But where I'm going with this is if the gentleman says, I have a nut allergy, I put it in the comments. I tell the manager, I tell the hostess, I tell the waitress, I have a nut allergy. He's saying that repeatedly because if he consumes nuts, he could die.
Die.
Yes.
You understand
I understand that.
And he suffered an allergic reaction.
And there are no nuts in his dish.
But here's the thing. You can't say that because he suffered a reaction.
Anaphylactic. Look at my face.
Sir, please. I understand that you're frustrated and upset.
My
but
girl
please.
left me for this.
I understand, sir, please. Your business had some type of cross-contamination that affected him. And he almost died, sir. Now, there's no way. Now, you could sit here and say that you can't guarantee that. I understand that. But you still have the burden of responsibility. When someone tells you, hey, I'm allergic to this, I can't have this. Now, if the situation is, if he's telling you, hey, I'm allergic to nuts, you can always say, look, we can't guarantee cross-contamination. You're going to have to take your business elsewhere.
I'd like to make one other point.
Make
My
it quick.
son is severely celiac.
Okay.
Gluten-free, not good enough for him.
Okay.
He cannot eat in a restaurant that doesn't have a separate oven for baking gluten-free
But that
pizza.
has nothing to do with...
because he takes personal responsibility.
Sir,
wouldn't
that
you
has
have
nothing to do with Mr.
separate
Zamora.
At some point, if he's got to walk around with an EpiPen everywhere he goes, go eat in the hospital.
So wouldn't you
go
have,
eat in the hospital?
Wouldn't you have a separate oven?
Gentlemen,
Wouldn't you have a separate oven?
my mind is made up. I'm sorry. Sir, I know that you requested $9,000. I am not going to give you $9,000, okay? I am going to give you $100,000 for your pain and suffering. He could have died because of your irresponsibility. This isn't even up for discussion. Because if that man was dead, trust me, you'd be paying more than $100,000.
Lucky your restaurant's not mine.
This court is adjourned. If you need help paying the amount, get in contact with the clerk.
Ridiculous.
Get Mario's
Have a
real
good
quick.
day.
Thank you, Judge. And a Allergic. I want to thank Judge Porter for helping me solve this issue. Because of that man right there in his restaurant, I went through anaphylactic shock. I would have turned that restaurant real quick to Mario's. But don't worry, I'm going to buy a restaurant right across his and give him a great competition and make 2 ovens and make sure nobody else has to go through this and has to lose their girl. I'm sorry, baby. Please, I know another restaurant we can go to.
You know, you got a restaurant, you make money on 3 things. Cocktails, soup, iced tea. Because you're basically selling water. I'll let you in on a little secret. Everything else, you're breaking even. You're barely making do. You're barely getting by. But people see my restaurant, 32 years we've been there, must be rolling in dough, big place, guys really successful. So they come at you from every side. And I ask again, I asked the judge, he didn't want to hear me, but I ask again, at one point, do you take responsibility for your own health? But look, what am I going to do? I got to turn a bad situation into a good situation. So here's what I'm going to do. Anybody comes in who saw this episode of Judge Porter, you tell me you saw the episode, free appetizer for the party on me, okay? Just come visit us, we'll treat you well. La notte perfetto, the perfect night. Although maybe I'm going to change the name after this. Uccidimi adesso. Sounds romantic, right? Italian for kill me now.